And when it started happening, I was like, it's happening.
Oh my God. It's happening. Keep shoving. It's
so
happening. It's coin slot mode. It's happening.
It's so oddly deep.
Coin slot engaged.
Hey, this is Jonathan Gomez from Jomez Pro, and you're listening to Unstable Discourse.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Out of a podcast? The way I see it, if you're gonna do Unstable Discourse, why not do it with Ryan, Alex, and Sean?
Oh, welcome in to episode 12 of Unstable Discourse.
Yeah.
We're back. Coming to you guys from Delwood Disc Golf in Lockport, Illinois, the world famous Delwood Disc Golf. It is your boys, Ryan Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear,
Yes, sir.
Sean Callahan of Delwood Disc Golf,
Hey,
Jason Callahan of the Callahan lineage.
you have a drumstick and your brain stops ticking?
He finished it. Also, Jason's from Bag of Tricks, and he's also becoming more and more known as Sean's brother. And we have Leo, the Doc Borowski of all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
You guys have, if you've been listening to the show, you've heard his name mentioned no fewer than 300 times.
Yep.
Correct.
That's right.
He is the doc.
So it was inevitable that we were going to have him on the show. Doc, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
So, episode 12 is Golden Media Showers 2, the Peequel.
The Peequel.
I'll let you guys guess who came up with that name. No, I won't. It was Jason.
It was me.
Jason loves pee jokes, and I think we're all on board with it.
Sheila asked me about it earlier. She was like, "Are you guys fucking serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I think we are."
I don't think he was going to let us cop out of that.
No.
As
When
you said.
I came up with it, it wasn't a question so much as it was a demand.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The Peequel. That's very funny. If I saw that, I would be like, "Those guys are cool."
Totally unbiased.
Yeah.
So the reason why we're doing a sequel to the media episode, a couple weeks ago at the Battle of Bush Park, I was actually hanging out with Leo and the crew while they were running the tournament, and I was getting to know him for the first time, actually. I never really sat down with him, and I started to hear some of his stories about how he brought disc golf onto national TV for the first time, and the stories were wild, and I was like, well, we need to have you on as a guest at some point. You have all this experiences, in media and disc golf. Maybe we need to do a follow-up episode. And so it just clicked. And you were right on board right away. So thanks again for that.
Yeah.
Well, it was right after we had done the first one, and I knew when we recorded that first episode, I was like, the whole time I could feel Doc's eyes on me, like, "You son of a bitch!
Son of a bitch.
Why did you not have me on that episode?" I have
Talking
so much
about
to say.
CBS and
Yeah.
The big stuff. We'll get into all that stuff later, but you guys know how we start. It starts with Fired Up.
Fired up.
Ooh. All right.
okay.
Got to keep you guessing.
Sean, what you fired up about?
I am fired up about. This is a two-parter for me. I got two things. Can I do two?
Fine.
All right.
What,
I'm gonna
is
do
this your show?
Part one is the XXL layout and how well it played during Clash of the Canyons 4. I was very excited about what we were able to take from the XL layout from last year and kind of mold with the new stuff. It just worked really well. I had nothing but compliments. I was very thankful for that because I thought that it was going to be a track that was really going to challenge these guys, and it really, other than Ezra's second round of the 47, which
What
of course
the
shout out
hell?
to Ezra
Yeah.
Adderholt, it was a really fun track. I think it played really well and gives us even some room to grow, and I think there's a couple
Yep.
other tweaks we can make for next year, but
Totally.
super excited about that.
Wait, before you move on,
yes.
can we elaborate on that just a little bit? Because some of these people that are listening may not realize how big of a deal the Clash is and who was here. You're getting compliments from the pros that were here, right?
Yes.
In case you aren't in the loop, the pros that were here for Clash include Philo,
Brathwaite was here.
Nico.
Same.
Who else? Brian Earhart.
Brian Earhart was here. We had Ezra Adderhold, obviously.
Noah
we
Meinsma?
had Noah Meinsma and
Cameron
Messerschmidt and Haley King.
Haley King?
Yeah.
And Henry Manahan was another guy.
Correct. Yep. We also had guys like A. Russ and
Alex
Tristan
Russell
Tanner.
was here. Tristan
AJ
Tanner.
Risley, they were not playing, but they were here to
hanging
hang
all
out.
weekend. Yeah,
and it
that was
great.
really cool.
Yeah.
There were some heavy hitters out here, so to get compliments on the layout from those guys, that's very different to, we'll say, me giving you a compliment on the layout.
Yeah, it was very, very cool, exciting stuff that is definitely going to propel the whole team to want to do bigger and better things. We're already discussing, where we can go from here and get back to A-tier status and possibly look into becoming a Silver Series event. So I've already started that conversation with one of the TDs. So really, I mean, what people may not understand, let's go back a second, is that obviously rescheduled from COVID when we had the shutdown for sanctioning. And the date that we landed on was a date that we had already had for Clay Track Classic 2. And what I had to do was kind of reposition things and use that weekend for Clash. Kind of unbeknownst to me, serendipitously, the rescheduled dates for Silver Cup ended up being the weekend before it.
Right.
And the rescheduled dates for D-Glow, which is happening right now, was the weekend after, obviously.
Correct.
So we fell right in between people going from central Wisconsin down through Chicagoland up into central Michigan. Yep. So we really lucked out. And now it just kind of woke me up like, oh man, I think I need to talk to these other TDs and go, hey, let's try to schedule this triad again so that maybe we can become a Silver Series. Yeah. So really excited about that. That's
awesome.
But that's really just the serendipitous story of how that all panned out.
Yeah.
I love the behind the scenes stuff.
On to my part two. I did have a two-parter. The other one is just how many AMs are taking cash and going pro. It seems like, maybe we'll have one a year of a homie that we know of that is like, hey, I took the cash and I'm moving up. But recently there's been like 4 or 5 guys. It started with Tyler Lesack, Patrick Richard, newly now Patrick Haker.
Yep.
Jamie Papanick.
Mm-hmm.
Just so very cool to see those guys. I mean, if we're not pushing the envelope from the ground up, I mean, for these guys to do that, then it's kind of like everything is so stagnant. So I love to see the growth. I love to see everybody going up, taking that cash. I'm sure those guys just get sick of playing for Frisbees every single weekend. So love handing new guys cash.
Yeah.
So it's very awesome.
Get a lot of these guys that are out here like we saw today that are throwing bombs and we don't even know who they are. Right. Get them playing MA3, MA2. And like keep the cycle going. Let's go. Let's get these new players in.
Then all of our 1-day events become 2-day events, and everything's a B tier.
Yep. And then Doc has less weekends.
Then I get to hang out with Doc more though, because that's the silver lining. I get to hang out with the Dr. Reno.
Yep.
We can run a tournament Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week, every month.
Every week.
And they're still going to cry.
Mike Serdar actually did he ever talk to you about a 3-day tournament? He had talked to me about an idea about doing a Trinity Highland Delwood 3-day event at some point.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you start planning this without talking to Sean, you effed up. So he said he was going to talk to you, but maybe that hasn't happened yet.
No.
Oh, we've already stole his idea. It's already on the schedule for next year.
Good.
So, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
We're probably already going to do that.
Whoops. Okay. Ryan, Fanny, what are you fired up about?
The fanny pack. Just roll with it.
Yep. So Tuesday we got to play. Sean and I actually got to play the XXL layout with some special guests.
Yes, we did.
Should I mention who that was?
Yes, you should.
Jomez happened to stop by on their way through from Texas to D-Glow and hit up Sean and said, hey, let's go play around. So myself and Sean and Jonathan Gomez and Jerry and our good friend Mike Z from Link Disc Golf got to play the XXL layout. It was a blast.
It was.
Those guys are unbelievably cool.
Did you guys talk to him about the fact that we were going to be doing a media-focused episode soon?
I think we mentioned it. They probably don't care. They got too much going on. I played like garbage, but it was fun. This is what happens when you play once a month. Like you play like garbage, and I expected it. So this afternoon, before we recorded this, I messaged the guys and said, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to shoot better than I did on Tuesday. And I did by 6 strokes.
Yes, he did.
And there were some really questionable decisions that I made today. But overall, I felt like my play was much more controlled, much more consistent with what I'm capable of. So I'm stoked for that. Playing the XXL layout, I scored better than the last couple guys in MPO.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
So that's all I could ask for. I wasn't going to cash, but I wasn't in last place.
Yeah.
I want to hear about these questionable decisions. And I'm really wondering if any of them are underwear related.
One of them definitely was, because I'm
Wow.
dealing with it now.
Wow.
They're just up in there, huh?
Boxer briefs was not a good idea right now. I mean, they are stuck to everything.
I don't
It's
know why.
warm outside. It's very humid. And all that bending can't be good.
Yeah, so
I was worried
No.
you went with lace.
not today. I
Silk
did on
boxers.
Tuesday. Maybe that was the problem.
That's
Taking
the
it back
thing.
to late
Maybe that was the problem. Yeah, the
1998.
silk just rides all the way up.
It does.
But
Silk boxers.
no,
And
yeah,
in some areas causes chafing.
it does cause chafing. Yeah, that's when you need the fresh balls or you need a
Need a
bottle of
Gold
Gold
Bond.
Bond.
Gold Bond.
Yeah,
GB.
yeah. The green bottle.
If you don't know
daring.
about Gold Bond, you better find out.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Gold Bond.
Yeah.
You better ask somebody.
J-Man, what are you fired up about?
Yeah. So kind of a cool thing happened. It took about a month and a half for it to happen, but it did. So as I said in a previous episode, my favorite band is a band called Doves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The problem with living in the States and loving a band that is in Manchester
The
is
UK.
sometimes it's hard to get all of their music when you're just the fan that wants the album tracks, the B-sides, the rarities, the live stuff, right? It's hard
Right.
to come by that
That's
stuff.
still a thing?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Cool. That's
absolutely.
cool. I like that.
Yeah. So I am part of a Doves Facebook page, like a
Nerd.
fan page,
Of course you
that's
are.
like 5,000 strong. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like pretty serious about this band.
Cool.
Why do you sound like you sound like you're being so condescending?
He's
bro,
trying
cool.
to be funny,
Nice.
but he's making me feel very small.
No, go ahead.
nerd.
Go
No,
ahead.
no.
Your
So
tone is making me
it takes
think of-
more than that to make me feel small. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
right.
Your
Don't
tone
worry.
is making me think of Jason writing fan letters like, "Hi, Doves, it's me, Jason again."
Can I get that one track from the B side?
I know
of that
you're
one
too
thing?
cool to write your fans.
The rarities.
So
This is Stan.
thank you for getting the reference.
I hope you get this, man. Hit me back, just a chat. Truly yours, your biggest fan. This is Stan.
So I'm on there. I kind of said something to the effect of being a fan in the States sucks. I know there's music out there I'm not getting, blah, blah, blah. Then somebody randomly, the guy lives in Manchester, messaged me and was like, "What's your address? I got you." And I was like,
Wow.
No way.
I was like, "Yeah, but you live in Manchester and I live in the States." He's like, "Send me your address. I'll take care of this." It took a month and a half, but like 4 days ago, an MP3 disc arrived in the mail
What?
with like 100 some odd tracks, full concerts, B-sides, rarities, like compilation stuff. It's awesome. It's so great. There's songs that I knew that they did, but I'd never heard. There's songs that I had no
Huge.
idea. It was awesome.
Known unknowns and unknown unknowns.
Unknown.
Yeah,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
you can just
they
pop
do,
this thing right in your Walkman and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah.
Got him.
Yeah. But it arrived. He threw a couple buttons in there, like just for fun, and just hooked me up. Was like, here you go, bro.
Whoa.
So the cool thing is that I posted something in the forum, kind of like thanking him, right?
Yep.
Blew up overnight. And now I have people messaging me. They're like, when you're done with the disc, can I give you my address and you mail it to me? And I was like,
How about I just make you another one?
but like, I love that concept of like, we
Right.
all like
Post
can you
photos, do
can
the
you
whole
pay
thing.
it forward and like
Totally.
see if we can spiral into something that's
That's awesome.
fun for all of us.
But
Yeah.
you're gonna want to keep the disc, right? Just like make a copy of it.
Right, totally. Yeah.
You can do that?
I gotta figure out.
You're
how
gonna have to burn a CD.
Not with a
bro.
Walkman.
Not with a
remember
Walkman, yeah.
the last time I burned a CD.
Yeah.
It's probably college, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was awesome. I was just
Sometimes people don't suck.
right. And that's what I'm fired up about is because I posted that. All the comments were like, "Faith in humanity restored."
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yes, right. That's what we need right now."
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
the world doesn't suck. It just feels like it does. It
You'll
can.
you'll
faith
find
in
what you're
humanity
looking
restore.
for
Yeah.
in general in life.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
looking for reasons that things suck, you'll find it. If you're looking for reasons that things are awesome, you'll find it.
Right.
It's
Same
just
is true
more
with
out in
people.
front of us
Right.
now.
Mhm.
That's it. Hey, Alex, what are you fired up about?
It's kind of called the Disc Golf Chicago Road Trip. I basically every year, me and the crew, we go somewhere. We always try and explore some different course. We've done Flip City. We went out to, it was at like a ski resort. It was like a temp course. It's awesome. The weekend of the 7th or the 8th, I think we're going to go out to Wildcat in Iowa, which
Okay.
Brad has told me about. Brad Cook says it's
Mhm.
amazing. He's got us all excited about
Again
it.
with the Brad Cook.
And Brad's family has a super dope cabin up that way. So we're going to go probably play Anna Page on the way.
Yep.
Then we'll go crash to the cabin, play board games and just get hammered and whatever. Next morning we'll get up and then go have a day at Wildcat and just like play a new course and be away from all the BS and
Yeah.
head back to the cabin, chill, and then wrap it up. So I need to decompress a little bit. My new job has been, it's tough. It's a lot to learn. So I could really use a little getaway. So I'm excited about that.
Hell yeah, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to hear all about that when you get back, I'm sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're not doing it this time around, but usually when we do these road trips, we set up a tournament. So like people can come with us, sort of convoy style.
Mhm.
Like we did this for Flip City a couple years
Yeah, I
ago.
remember that.
And a bunch of people came up and camped out at Flip City, and we had all these people from Chicago that were there for a tournament, and it was really cool. So, Doc, what are you fired up about?
I'm fired up about that. I'll be in the North Woods in 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Sandy Point. But what I'm really fired up about is Mokina.
Oh,
So,
Yes.
you know,
Mokina's
a
in
lot
the
of you
same
might not know.
conversation.
I've been golfing for 40 years. So 1982 was the first time I went to West Park and played my first round. And I've had a hand in the majority of these courses that have gone in, including Mokina. And, you know, I hadn't been to Mokina in about probably 10 years. I mean, as a lot of you know, I'm Trinity, I'm playing Delwood or Highland. I don't need to go any further than 7 minutes from my house. So,
yeah.
but I don't golf anymore. I'm always on the weekends. I'm running tournaments with Sean. Wednesdays, I'm running leagues that Jesse didn't want to do it this year for COVID. So, you know, I don't get a chance to golf. So on Thursday nights, my wife and I play with Jimmy Mack and his wife, Jamie. We have a double date night. So every Thursday
cool.
we go to a different course and play. So we said, hey, why don't we go to Mokina? I'm like, yeah, let's go there. I haven't been there in like 10 years.
Mhm.
And like I said, I was in the initial process when it went in, and then I've watched it deteriorate to a course where the pads weren't kept up, the area wasn't kept
They
up.
barely had pads at all.
They
Yeah.
barely had anything. And then I just stopped going. And I don't know who's out there, but my hat goes off to you because what an amazing transformation. I went out there and was blown away. I wasn't fond of the million gnats, but the course itself was beautiful. I mean, the defined cut fairways with the tall grass. I love the redesign on a couple of the holes that they did. The flow seems to be a little bit better. I love the fact that they've added these, they call them X pins, but they're the second pin placements and stuff like that. And you can see that someone's actually taken over a course or, you know, have put their time and effort to make that. And I think that's what we need in every course.
For sure.
You know, they all can't be Delwood, where you've got
Right.
a park district and a staff of people just making this the most beautiful place in the world. You know, a lot of park districts don't care about disc golf courses.
Right.
Right.
So
And
to have people to step up and just, you know, make it their own and take that initiative to go out and make it better for everybody. I was just really blown away. So that's
when
really
you said
fired up.
that it started to deteriorate, I wanted to jump in and say that's what happens to so many courses when there's not a dedicated crew who are like, this is our project, we're going to own this. And so many courses could be so much better if they just had that. Part of what I hope happens with our team-based league next year, where people have to designate a home course, is we'll see that. Not
They'll
everybody
take ownership. Yeah.
Yeah, like if this is, if you're going to call this your home course, we don't even need to say anything. I'm sure people will just be like, we got to make our home course dope. Like we have to put in that work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it
hopefully
doesn't
that
really,
happens.
it doesn't take out going, you know, on hours and hours and weekends of your time. Hey, take the weed whacker out there once for a couple hours, clean up around the tee pads,
Sure.
a couple of the holes where, you know, it kind of gets high where the park district maybe can't mow, but just end up going in that area.
Yep.
Just spend a little time and clean it up. It's not just picking up garbage. It's getting out there and actually doing things to improve the course or the maintenance of the course. It's not going to
Absolutely.
get done otherwise.
Absolutely.
Right.
It
Right.
almost feels like a is it reforestation? Reforestry? It's better. There are more trees.
It is better. Yeah.
The long grass areas that they're not cutting, the rough,
Yeah.
there are saplings that are growing. And I do know that a lot of the older oak trees were dying because they kept cutting the grass so short. And they weren't letting kind of the ecosystems create themselves. They were trying to manage it too much. I talked to, speaking of who it was, I do know that Sean Ziems of the Mokina Park District
Sure.
had a huge part in redoing all of that stuff. And then I think it was like Sean Ziems, and then shortly after that was when
Circle One boys.
Scotty started doing Circle
Yeah.
One, and then they started to collaborate on some ideas.
Mhm.
It's like woods again. You're not. It's not just dying oaks. There is tall grass, and there are saplings, and there's different species
And concrete tee pads.
and concrete tee
That's
pads.
huge.
Huge. Yes, most definitely.
And definite shapes to the holes instead of just baskets back and forth. you had to, get around some oak trees, but
Right.
and now
Wherever
like,
you landed and you were like, oh, okay, I can do it from here. But now it's like, I don't want to end up in that rough over there.
right? Yeah, there are
They're
definitely
not
lines
just
you gotta
straight.
hit.
They're just like the one that they redesigned. I believe I'm not sure on the number change. I know it's one more, but they took 9 and
Hole
they
9
busted
to
it
10.
into 2
Yeah.
holes.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, the second part of 9, so the whole 10 now,
Yeah.
is an amazing
Gorgeous.
shot. They've got it cut
Gorgeous.
away with a couple islands of tall grass
Yep.
in the middle. It was beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Nats, we would have played all 27.
That's everybody's fired up. All right, let's move along now to, well, not the trivia portion of the night, but kind of the trivia portion of the night. We're going to talk about what happened with the Oreo challenge that we laid out at the end of last episode. Jason, how did that unfold?
Dramatically, I would say. Yeah.
There was blood.
There was blood. Yes, there was.
There will be blood.
There will be blood. There was blood shed tonight in order to stuff Oreos in our mouth.
No Heimlich maneuvers though.
No, that was my biggest concern. Like I
Oreo,
had
inhaling Oreo dust.
right.
Yeah.
That
Particles.
was like once it hits the back of your throat, you're done. Then you're gonna like go into choke mode.
Right.
And then
You're
you're
dead.
dead.
Rescue
Can't go anywhere with
911.
this.
Fortunately, there was
You're
a
dead.
doctor in the
And
house.
there was-
Got him.
The doctor got it.
So, in the order that things took place, Sean led us with 4. He was able to put 4 total.
Wouldn't
Sean
really say
put-
that it was a leading position, but yes.
Well, I mean, you
I
started.
ate 4 of them.
Yes, you
Yeah.
put 4 Oreos.
Put
in
4
your
in
mouth.
my mouth.
It moved to me. I was able to put 5.
Yep.
That was a total of 9.
Yep. I should have gone
Then-
next, but
Then
yeah.
Then we had the
we
cleaner.
shifted to Alex, who was able to take on as many as Sean and I combined.
Correct.
He put 9 in his mouth.
Yep. Cut his mouth in the
Cut
process.
his mouth doing it,
and just
but was
pushed
able to
right
put
through.
9.
life into pieces.
This is my Oreo.
It was about less than half of what I thought I was going to get.
Yeah.
But I also thought we were going to be allowed to like kind of crumble them up or
Nah.
soft. I thought I had some like sneaky tactics.
I was breaking to fill the small spots.
That's
Whether
smart.
that was allowed or not, I did it. I was
Well, it's
shoving.
too late now,
Yeah,
but now we know.
And then after Alex's triumphant 9,
Yeah.
then we landed on Ryan.
I got 4. I could have
Doing
probably gotten 4.5, but not.
I feel like if we
not
were
another whole one.
chewing,
Yeah.
we would definitely be swallowing. You
Oh,
would
I
be
would've-
swallowing
I would've
just
choked
as a,
for
like
sure.
Yes,
a reaction that you would with food in your mouth.
I would've been
would've-
choking.
There would
there
have
would
been
be,
Your brain
there
is
would be some
programmed to do.
cheating. There would
Yeah.
be some cheating
So,
happening accidentally.
I actually felt really good because I spent a lot of time with Ryan and Sean and now Jason. Not so much with you, Alex, but
Right.
I'd like to spend more. So I picked Ryan with 4. I was right. I picked Sean for 4, which I was right.
Hey.
I picked Jason for 5.
No,
But
you didn't.
I did.
Yeah, he
but
did.
I
He did.
completely underestimated the size of your mouth.
Which is what
I
she
mean,
said.
I picked 6. I'm thinking, my God, 6
and
Oreos.
you no
Who
problem
could
nined
put
us.
more in
Right.
there? And
Yeah.
then I was
no
just,
problem.
You got to 6 and hit overdrive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it was,
those
Yeah.
last 3 were.
I was very
interesting to
impressed.
watch.
Yeah.
Very impressed, sir.
Thank you. I've been
Speaking of
training
watching,
for this.
it's on our Instagram, so feel free
yeah.
to go and check
yeah,
out
please
that post.
relive that over and over again.
Yeah,
It'll be on the story, and then you can just click to watch IGTV and watch the rest of that video. It's
Yep.
not very long.
yep.
What, like maybe 5 minutes?
Did you go through the guesses yet? Do we know who
3.5.
won?
I did.
Oh, hell
Who
yeah.
is our winner?
Our
from this
winner,
contest?
who guessed the 22 first. We had
Oh.
22 guesses.
Okay.
But the person who guessed it first is Mr. Jake Thorns.
Jake Thorns.
Oh, hell yeah.
He just sent me a friend request and just followed us on Instagram right before the contest.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jake
Wow.
rules.
Yeah.
He
Good
also,
for you, Jake.
He also owes us all a steak dinner.
Yes.
If you've
Oh,
seen
he
that.
did say
I'll cash
that.
that
Yep.
in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For the record,
He would
Matt
do it.
Swing also guessed 22.
Oh, Matt,
but he
sorry,
guessed it a
dude.
day late.
All right.
So,
All right.
Dollar short.
Day
Yep.
late, dollar short.
Mhm.
Good job,
So,
Jake Thorns.
What's Jake winning? You said
The rest of
Whatever the
right?
Oreos were that
he gets all the Oreos that we,
we
spit
didn't
out.
eat them. We just put them in our mouths and took them back
They're
They're
out.
all in a
Yeah.
bag.
They're
The
all-
bag says Jake Thorne.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
congratulations.
pick that up here at Deli.
Yeah. I mean, the longer you wait, the more mushy they're going to get. So
All right, hurry up.
We need
Jake.
to go through a list of the people that still have to pick up things that they have won from guessing all this,
Yeah.
because there are still
Oh,
a
yeah,
pile
yeah.
I have a
of
list.
things at the
I
shop
have a
that need to be
list.
picked
We can
up.
do a
Yep.
whole episode on just that people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know we
Sit
still
on
need to
your ass
mail.
and
We
come
have
get your stuff.
the Castoplast disc that needs to be
That is still
mailed
here?
to Texas. I have the address.
Unaware. Okay.
And yeah, it's in Texas. So.
The Dana disc is still over here. It's
Yeah.
Yep.
there's,
Guys,
there's
come
winners.
pick up your stuff.
Come
I mean,
on,
we love
yeah.
that you
come
participate, but like, come get your stuff.
yeah.
It's free.
For all the events, by the way.
Yes, player pack. Son of a bitch. Here we go. I got beef. Damn it.
Are you at the beef section of this?
Already.
Beef can pop up anytime.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah.
I'm not really hip on the rules, but okay.
You got beef, dog?
We got beef.
Okay.
Here's my beef. Guys, when you're getting free stuff, fucking pick it up.
Come and get it.
Fucking get it. When we tell you at the player meeting that we want all 4 of you to come back with the scorecard, first and foremost, that's so we don't have any scorecard issues.
Which, when we do have scorecard issues,
We can discuss it with all 4 of you because you're standing there.
yeah, but when we do have them, it's because only one dude just throws the scorecard at
Right.
us, and then we say, "Where's the rest of your card?"
He's already at Sizzles. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Shout out to Sizzles.
Sizzles.
Shout out to Sizzles. We love you,
yeah.
Murph.
But yeah, continue.
So get your stuff. The player packs. When you're coming back, please get it, because then it just sits in the shop. And we have a list, but like 4.5 months from now, you're going to come by and you're going to be like, hey, Sean, do you still have that player pack for me all wrapped up nice and tight from Clash of the Canyons
From
4
Clash of the Canyons 2?
months ago? I'm going to go, you should have got it. It's a pain in the ass. Please just get your player packs. I love you all.
Yeah, at some point we're gonna say,
Rant over.
"Nah, we don't."
Funny money and player packs have
6
to
months.
be available for 6 months,
6
which
months.
I will do for you.
Totally.
But for the love of God,
Yep.
get your player packs.
Right. After 6 months, sorry.
Well, that's enough beef for now. Maybe we'll come back to that later.
Yeah.
And
That was one
congrats
slice of
again,
beef.
Jake Thorns. Make sure you come pick up your stuff. Now it's time to move along to the patented Callahallander rundown.
Yeah.
Callahallander rundown, y'all.
Is it brought to us by anything?
It should be brought to us by discgolfscene.com.
Fair enough.
It's not, but it should be. Come on, Pete, figure it out. Here we go.
Is he aware of this show at all?
Who
Probably
knows?
not.
Oh, I doubt it.
I'll tag him. We'll send it to him.
Yeah.
If
That
you
dude
do,
answers questions right away.
So quick.
right away. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
you should send him a clip of like us doing the calendar rundown, and then
Yes.
The what?
So,
The
cut all the
Callahallander
shit.
rundown. The Callahallander rundown.
Callahallander rundown.
Say that.
Runtown, I said.
Yeah.
I
Brought to you by
First
discgolfscene.com. Here we go. Clay Track Classic 2, Sunday, July 26th. That is in 2 days. After running 2 back-to-back B tiers. Now we're doing Doc's looking at me. He's smiling a little bit. He knows. He knows. All day Sunday. It's going to be a hot one. Scorcher.
8th weekend in a row, by the way.
8th weekend in a row. Just throwing that out.
I think it's ironic that the one time that we will get to sit possibly in air conditioning, it will be at the shed at Trinity. That's funny to me because
Yes.
normally the shed at Trinity always seems like the sauna.
hottest, moistest.
But this weekend it will be the coolest
It will
place.
be the relief that we've all.
right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's off limits. Technically,
No.
the course is closed, so we'll be outside in a tent.
All right.
The look on Ryan's face
Nah.
is priceless.
Wait, are you
Nah.
troll?
Are
you
we gonna
trolling?
be?
Is
Are
it
we
real?
gonna be hanging out in the new shed with possibly fans with extension cords? Callahallander rundown, J-Town Championships. A couple of weekends after the Clay Track Classic 2 on Saturday, August 8th. That is going to be a fun one. We've got 1 round at Delhi. We've got 1 round at Trinity. Everybody's psyched because the people that put these tournaments together, those are our 2 courses. I think we're going to come up with some pretty fun layouts, something a little different to kind of make that event unique. It is already full. Maybe we can open up a couple more spots, but check it out. Get on the wait list if you're interested. Saturday, August 22nd, Feather Friends Demic for the ladies. It's going to be another fun one at Delwood Park. Can't wait for that. Following day, Sunday, August 23rd, The Funk. We are signed up for that, Ryan.
Yes, we are, Alex.
Yes, we are, Doc.
Nope.
I was
I'm
asked
staying at home that
by
weekend.
Corey Simonich who we wanted to have as our 4th.
Yeah.
I did request
Can he-
that it would be Mikey Z because he is signed up for MA2.
Okay.
Oh,
We
okay.
could talk about it. I think that would be a pretty sweet 4th. We could have a lot of fun. Circle 1 Open, September 19th. That's a Saturday. That's going to be over at Mokina. I'll be doing the vending with those guys. Can't wait to see Scotty and those guys run their first event. I'll be hovering over them and watching every move.
Judging everything.
Everything. Workforce Brewing Open. That is going to be the next day. That is one of our events. So that'll be another long weekend, Doc. What do you know? That's going to be Sunday, September 20th. That'll be a lot of fun. That's a pop-up event that we do in Plainfield. We work with Workforce Brewing. We will talk about them a little bit later because we've got more to talk about with that. That's very fun. Incarcerated 3, September 26th and 27th. That's all weekend. That is going to be so much fun. We've already started the planning with that. That will be going live not Friday the 31st, but the following, which is what, the 7th, I believe, August 7th. That's a Friday. That sounds right. That's when it's going to be going live.
Think so.
We'll let you know on Facebook. It'll be happening very, very soon. October, we're getting all the way into October because we're already in July. Superclass Sunday. That is a Superclass only event put on by the Link Boys, not to be confused with Mikey Z's LINQ Link.
Oh,
Disc
it's
Golf.
not the Linkies. It's
This
Team
is
Link.
Team Link.
Gotcha.
Adam Berkovic and Mike Stahulak and co. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be over at Trinity, I think. Shanny Classic already, October 10th and 11th. All weekend, man. That's going to be a blast over at Shanny. That's going to be the first time that we've had any event out there since we didn't have an event for Shanny Classic last year, which became the Tranny Classic. So fingers crossed, everybody. No rain in October. Probably not going to happen. We'll see. Mayhem
Dude,
at
you're
Marilla.
still going?
I'm still going. We got 2 more.
Dude.
Mayhem at Marilla, October 24th. That's a Saturday. That is the last Greater Joliet Tour Series event before the drum roll, please. The Delis, Friday, November 6th. Guys,
Can't
we're
wait to
going to
edit
blow
that.
your minds. It's going to be a party. It's going to be at the Roxy Theater. We're going to have it all rented out for you all
You're gonna have to wear
in
a tux.
downtown Lockport.
tux.
We're going to make some very, very cool things happen. Stay tuned for that. There's so much more fun happening in between now and then, but so many things to look forward to. That is your Callahallander Rundown, brought to you by unofficially discgolfscene.com.
Dude,
Come on,
this-
Pete, hook it up.
This train, I mean, that calendar train, or the Callahallander train, man. Like, when is anyone ever going to sleep?
We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
Honestly,
we don't.
We really
how
don't.
are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
When will you actually?
It doesn't.
December.
Because by
It doesn't.
then, we'll be doing how many leagues? We'll
Yeah.
probably be doing Delwood After Dark at that point, because I know I'm going to do Delwood After Dark again.
And
Everybody
that'll
loved
take
it.
us through December, and then come January, we'll start
JPPL?
JPPL for another 10 weeks.
Yep.
And then by the
boom,
time
we're right back into
That's
tournament
over,
season.
then it's right back into tournament season.
Everybody needs to bow down, kiss the feet.
Not after a
Unreal.
long day, though.
we've
Nobody's going to
added
want
it
to do
up.
that.
I mean, it's literally close to 30 weekends out of a 52-week year,
yeah.
if not more.
I would say more at this point.
Probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Wow.
year.
With leagues and everything, when
With
you
leagues
when
and
you
everything, yeah.
oh, yeah. But we love it. We love doing it.
Let's move along to.
Before we get to local route,
Is it local route?
I would like to interrupt this podcast to bring you a new portion. This portion is called the best Instagram comment of the night.
Ooh, okay.
And it's
The best Instagram comment of the night.
it was during our Instagram live. I'm giving a shout out to the official Instagram of FestiBands. They commented, Alex's mouth is basically a coin slot.
Yes.
And that is just
It did
one
look.
of the best things I have heard.
It looked like
Yes.
tokens.
Yes.
Ski ball.
Yeah, ski ball.
So good.
Ski ball.
I was completely facetious in my guess of like, oh, I'm going to do the most. I didn't think I would do any more than anyone else. And when it started happening, I was like, it's happening.
Oh my God.
It's happening.
Keep shoving. It's
so
happening.
It's
Coin
so,
slot mode. It's happening.
so oddly deep.
Coin slot engaged.
Now
so
we can do that. Sweet local route.
local routes. Who wants to kick us off? Anybody?
I'll do it. We had Clash this past weekend, and it's a B tier. There were 235, 239 players, whatever it is. That is impossible to run without all of the volunteers and all of the extra help. Everyone that was not directly in the shop, just out there spotting.
Can we
and-
name some names?
Yeah, please. Like
Jessica
spot-
Anders.
Oh,
She managed all of the spotters.
killed it.
Absolutely awesome.
You know how we know that she killed it? Because we didn't have to say a word about any of it.
She was on
She
top
took
of
care
all
of
of it.
all of it. That was so amazing. One of the most frustrating things I would think is like trying to deal with an important issue and then somebody running up and say, hey, there's no spotter on hole 4. That's not something we can deal with right this second,
right,
you know, and we're
right.
scrambling to try and find anybody that's standing around, but there was zero
Yeah,
of that.
it was funny. She originally had reached out and said that she wanted to help. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, definitely. And then I started talking about kind of spotting responsibilities. And she was like, oh, that seems like a lot of like weight, you know, a little bit more than maybe she had thought.
Yeah.
And I could tell with the way that she was texting back that it was like, she kind of felt a little intimidated. And I said, we're going to call an audible. I will get the guys who are not as intimidated, and I would like you to manage those people. And then she was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yes.
This is what I want to do. And I was like, perfect, because this is actually a role that you don't always consider. You think about the spotters, but you don't think about the fact that those guys are going to be coming up to you at 8:30 a.m. when you have 2 cards out and you're like still trying to get in the
Yeah.
groove. And
Yeah.
they're like, hey man, I'm here. Where do you want me to go? And I'm like, fuck, I don't remember. I'm just about to do another tea time in a player meeting. So
Or like it's 1 PM and like, oh, dude's been out on hole 9 since 7:30. He needs lunch. Like, what are we gonna, like, it's all
It's
these
a
things
lot.
to consider.
Yeah.
And
having her
she handled all of it.
manage that entire thing was incredible, and she was dealing directly with Sheila, and Sheila was helping her, and it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And then also I'm stealing your
No, it's okay. I mean, you
Thunder.
knew the people more than I
Yeah.
did because I was dealing with
Brad
other stuff,
Perini
but,
and
like,
Adam DeBoer and
Ed
Mikey Z
Schenkenfelder
and Ed Schenkenfelder has been on 6A literally all 4 years of Clash.
Yep.
He donated $200 to the pro purse.
did.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Ed Schenkenfelder?
Ed
Oh,
Schenkenfelder,
yeah.
the father
What a
of
dude.
Sir Josh
Yeah,
Schenkenfelder.
Yeah.
no, I had a feeling.
one of the best
There's not a lot of
dudes that we
Schenkenfelders
know.
out there.
Right?
Great guy.
Yeah.
Every
Super
time
good.
I write their name down, I'm just like, how am I still writing? How is there more?
I just stop
And every time
after
there is.
SCH. Yeah. I just
Yeah.
scribble. Some of the pros that came out and didn't play, they were great too. They were there like directing people and helping people out and like helping people in the shop while we were, doing our jobs. And like,
Yep.
it was amazing to see how the well-oiled machine worked,
Right.
because usually it's us trying to delegate and it just becomes overwhelming with that many people and that many players and that high a level of disc golf.
Right.
But it was amazing to see. So thank you to everybody that did that. It was unbelievable.
That's a ditto for me, but I do have my own.
Go ahead.
I will go now. My local route shout out is a couple of dudes, not a two-parter, but it was a two-part teamwork on making this happen. Mr. Thor Batchelor has been working with Workforce Brewing for quite some time. All of us have, but Thor's really been spearheading that relationship. And we've done, Doc, we've done now two
Well, we did 2 disc swaps there.
2 disc swaps there,
We did
right?
the pop-up tournament, and then we have the other pop-up tournament coming up.
And then we've got Workforce Brewing 2 happening this year. Brandon Wright, for those of you that don't know, he is the owner of Workforce Brewing.
Old school disc golf, dude.
Old school disc golf
Old
dude
school.
from early 2000s, maybe late 90s.
Yep.
Wheeled and dealed a lot of discs down at the college that he went to, which I am
Out of his attic?
Southern,
Yeah.
Eastern,
Oh, I don't remember.
one of the Illinois schools. Such a rad dude. He has helped out with Trinity now for 2 years and helped with all the costs associated with Trinity. Being the type of guy that he is, even when times are tough during COVID, everybody came together and it was like, let's brand a beer to do some fundraising, portion of which will be going to help out Trinity. So when Brando could have easily just said, it's not going to happen this year, guys. Everybody kind of switches gears and says, how can we make this work? And that's my kind of people, man, because that's really what makes the world turn. It's just salt of the earth. So very cool.
and there's one in the fridge right now, as of today.
Well, I think maybe it's time. Should we crack that bad boy open and give it a taste?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ryan, you're closer.
Oh.
And I'm sitting crisscross applesauce.
What's the name of that beer, Sean?
The name of that beer is probably one of the coolest names of anything ever. It is Don't Call It Frolf. And it has the hanging basket from Hole 2 at Trinity. New Mach 7s. Shout out to DGA.
Mm-hmm.
No longer a shout out to Steve. How do you say Fern's actual last name?
Bernaris.
Fernaris.
Mhm.
So everybody, for those of you that don't know a little history, Hole 2 at Trinity was a hanging basket before that was given to Trinity by Fern. Was
Hole
it?
2
What's the
basket
story,
was
Doc?
stolen.
I'm gonna chop up the story.
Well,
so
the,
you go.
the basket was stolen.
Okay.
And then Fern donated a basket.
Okay.
The difference in his basket, he had these big nubs. I don't remember what kind of basket it was.
Yeah.
But it seemed everybody hit the nubs. So when they hit the nubs and missed their putt, they yelled out a very choice word and yelled out
Fuck you, Fern.
Fern.
They would say fuck you. Fuck you, Fern.
Oh, okay.
Fuck you, Fern.
Yeah, that's what they would
Cool.
say.
Yes.
Say it again.
Fuck you, Fern.
Which,
Yeah,
by
there
the
you
way, Fern, thank you for letting us use that
Yes,
basket
what a
and
guy.
donating it to your
What a guy.
time.
It's really
Even
Become
though the basket
iconic.
didn't
It's
suck.
like
Yes.
it's like one of the things
So
that people
now-
know about Trinity.
Still a hanging basket, but it's a brand new Mach 7 brought to you by
DGA.
DGA,
Yep.
Disc Golf Association.
And it is on the can right here.
It is.
Hole 2 with a disc flying into it. I'm
Right.
assuming they made that putt.
Shout out to Circle One. So we
Yeah.
worked together with Circle One and obviously the Trinity crew and Delwood Disc Golf and
Yep.
Brando at Workforce Brewing. So make sure when you pop that can, it's right into the mic so everybody
Don't
can.
Call It Frolf is a hazy pale ale brewed with pale malt, flaked oats, and raw wheat, hopped with Citra, Cascade, El Dorado,
Ooh.
Oh,
Mandarina, Bavaria, and Huel melon. Fermented with a word I can't pronounce.
Must be good then.
Kvaking? I don't know what that is.
let's see it.
But here we go.
Hand it
Here
over
we
to
go.
the spelling bee champion. I'll figure it out.
Ooh, that's nice.
Where is that?
Pass it around.
It looks like it's
Shit.
It looks like it's from the Netherlands somewhere.
Kevorkian?
Fermented with Viking.
Viking. That's it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Look it up
would
on
know.
Google.
Am I trying this
everyone.
first?
Go ahead.
Damn.
Is it super hoppy? Describe it.
Oh, I'm not enough of a beer guy to give any kind of valid. Somebody else is gonna have to describe
Yeah. Okay.
it. Sorry.
I will try it. I'm also not.
I'm
a
also
beer
really
guy,
glad to be the first one to drink out of it.
Yeah. So
I don't have to drink it last.
You don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me spray the hand sanitizer directly back.
Yeah,
into
we
the
are
can.
doing that.
Well, the
right
hand sanitizer over here is
now.
tequila.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pouring this into a glass, and then I'm going to sip the glass.
You'll never know.
Not really. It's hoppy. It's not to the point where I would gag though, and I expected that.
Yeah.
So, which is what she said.
Mm.
But here,
Okay. Coming at me. Smells like an IPA, but not
it does smell very citrusy.
too strong. Because I really don't like super hoppy, super the IPAs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Oh yeah. That's a
Refreshing.
smoother IPA.
Yeah.
I don't like the tart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just like overwhelmingly hoppy.
Yeah. After a while, like you'd start to chew on it.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
like,
want that.
oh, but this is clean, man. I'm trying to think if I see any. I hear the word Huel melon, and I want to taste like honeydew or cantaloupe or something like that. You know, some kind of a melon taste.
It does smell more citrusy than it tastes right away.
It's good. I like it.
Good.
It's sweet. Jay, here you go. Puff, puff, pass.
Is this sloppy thirds or
1,
fourths?
2, 3. That'd
Fourths.
be
If
fourths.
I'm
Here, pour
if
it
I'm
into a new
fourth, it's
glass.
sloppy.
There you go. Into a new glass.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus! That was a
took all of
chug.
it.
That was like a
Oh yeah.
25% of the can.
That's perfect. That
Yeah.
goes down real smooth.
Very smooth.
Yep.
There's
Doc?
not too much tartness or
Not at all. And there's very little
Hoppiness
left
to
in the
it.
can. Sorry, Doc.
Well, let me see. Let me pour this into a glass.
Yeah.
I'm not really a beer drinker. Let me take a sip here. Wow, that is one of the best beers I have ever had. I don't like beer. I'm not really a beer guy. For those
Man,
who know me, that
you
don't
drank
really
that
drink beer.
so fast. I didn't even see it.
I did. But I will say that is a very good tasting beer, and everyone should get over to Workforce Brewing and pick up a 4-pack, an 8-pack, pick up a 24-pack. It supports Delwood, Trinity, Circle One. Not only that, when I was younger, I had a cool beer can collection. And wouldn't it have been cool to have a beer can
Hell
on your
yeah.
mantle that had Delwood Disc Golf label on it, Trinity Links label on it, Circle One on
Let's
it,
go. Let's
and
go.
a basket with a disc.
Yes.
So head over to Workforce over in Plainfield.
time to be alive.
Amazing taste.
Like, all kidding aside, do you guys have like a melony aftertaste?
Now I do.
I'm getting
Now I
it.
do.
Yeah.
It's like a sweeter
Definitely an
aftertaste.
aftertaste of melon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Doc.
Definitely.
Huel.
Yeah.
Huel melon.
Yule melon.
Definitely Huel melon.
Okay, Doc, you have somebody to shout out for a local route?
Yes, you
I
do.
do. I want to give a shout out to Dean Bingham.
Diener.
Dean the machine. Dean's been golfing for a long time. He's a carpenter by trade. And I'll tell you what, anytime we call Dean, we say, hey, Dean, we need your help over at Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
He's there in a flash going, what can I do? And then the guy comes out and works his butt off. So when we built the Dano Pavilion several years ago, we called it. He said, hey, Dean, we want to build this pavilion and for a memorial for Dano. He's like, all right, send me an email. Here's all the wood you need.
Wow.
I said, okay. We get the wood. He comes out, spends all day out there, kills it. I mean, just amazing. Doesn't ask for anything in return. He says, hey, this is my way of giving back to the course. We asked him for the bathroom at Trinity. Dean, we're building a bathroom, but we're really not sure how to tie it to the shed. He goes, well, I'll be out Saturday. Hour later, there was a built bathroom with rafters and shingles and shit coming off the wall.
Wow.
About a month ago, I said, hey, Dean, we got a new cart for Trinity. We'd like to get a shed so we can kind of clean up the shed itself and get all our tools in there. And he said, okay, what size? I said, well, I'd like 12 by 16. I said, okay. About a week later, he sends me an email with a material list. He came out last Saturday. It was 96 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
He started at 6 in the
So
morning,
close.
left at 4 in the afternoon, and a complete shed was built.
No way.
He never stopped.
Roof
He
and
was
everything.
Roof and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And
tar papered.
now it's the garage doors up. Like
The garage doors
doors
up
are
now.
up, like-
Dean came back out the following Monday, shingled it. He's got a little more trim to do. But I mean, this guy's just an animal.
Wow.
He looked like he got out of my pool like 5 times
Drenched.
because the sun was coming up from, the east. So that side was all sun all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And, 2 hours into it, he was completely soaked. I was like, Dean, you want to take a break? No, we got to get it done. And he was just a machine. So That's
Dude.
my shout out. I mean, Dean is
Dean's
an
the
animal.
man.
He's the man. We
Great
love
man.
him.
Can I tell you a
You know?
story about the first time I met Dean?
Sure.
No, thank you for asking. Let's keep
No.
moving.
I was at Aces and Chains one day, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make the league down at Round Barn, and I'm gonna play handicap." And I was at the counter buying discs and talking about how I was going to go to handicap league, and whoever was I think it was Clayton at the time, or whoever it was at the counter, and he was like, "Dude, they tee off in like 14 minutes," and I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't realize it was that late. I got there as the cards were like walking to the last holes, and I was like, "Oh man." And I went over to the table, and Dean was like starting to fold stuff up, and I was like, "Dean, buddy,
I need you.
can I get in on this card?" And he didn't roll his eyes. He didn't look at me and like sigh real hard, like, "Oh, we do it all the time."
Right.
He didn't do any of that. He was like, "Yeah, here's what we're going to do. Go over to hole 8. That's a close one. There's a foursome. Just jump on with them." He was so accommodating for me, this jag off that came so late, way too late.
Yeah.
And he let me play, and that was awesome. And that's the first time I like actually interacted with anybody from J-Town or any leagues or anything. And that could have gone horribly wrong. Granted, it was my fault. But because of that, I think I came back a few more times, and I think that launched my knowing of everybody around here. So
Oh, yeah.
I kind of have Dean to thank for that.
Yeah.
Sounds
Dean-
like a saint.
It was Dean and Beans or something like that. That's what they call their
Frank and Beans.
Frank and
Frank and
Beans.
Beans.
It was
Yeah.
from Frank and Dean are doing the handicap league.
Yep.
Dean's been instrumental in all the ice bowls. Was part of the J-Town Club for a while.
Has some seriously cool hair.
Seriously,
Very, very
seriously cool hair.
Yeah.
Very,
Very
curly,
cool hair.
very froey. Like
Yeah.
he's known
Yeah.
for his
Yeah.
hairdo.
But I mean, I'll tell you what, we give him a call anytime. Say, Dean, this is what we need. This is your expertise. What can you do? Someone came up to us last week and said, "Is this a kit?" No. Was there plans for it? I'd like to build one. I go, maybe in Dean's head.
Yeah.
Because
He just put it together.
He just put it together.
Wow.
Started cutting, and boom, we have a shed.
Lucky to have him. He sounds awesome. Dean, I hope I get a chance to meet you. I'm going to move along to my local route, which is Mr. Michael McGovern. He is going to actually be a guest on the show next episode.
Very
I
cool.
was speaking with Mike at the Battle of Bush Park. He is I hope I'm correct about this. He is a chiropractor, and he is going to be putting on a podcast about like your body and disc golf and like knowing what's happening with your
Wait, my body specifically?
all
like
of our bodies.
puberty
Okay.
with disc
Yeah.
golf.
Pew,
Are we-
pew, pew, pew,
He's going to have
puberty.
fun with mine.
Yeah.
No, but he's going to be talking about like your form and you know when you're having issues with your form, like what's going on with your body and how to correct that. And he's a very clever guy. I've hung out with him a bunch down at Ledgestone, and he's just super easy to talk to.
Awesome
he's
dude.
doing interesting things. He's also going to be putting out some content about your mental game, and like I think it's called the like Disc Golf Buddha. So it's going to be about like, you know, the art of Zen and, you know, keeping yourself centered and all that stuff. So I'm really excited to have him on the show and talk about all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, my shout out is to Mike for getting that stuff going and just a little preview of what to expect on next episode.
Hell yeah.
It's time for the heart and soul of this episode, Golden Media Showers, Part 2, the Peequel.
Peequel.
I don't know if I want to be part of this. This sounds kinky.
Oh, it is too late.
That's exactly why you
I'm
want
in
to
a
be a
room
part
with
of it.
four men right now, and the doors are locked. I don't know. And we're talking about Peequels.
So last time we did an episode called Golden Media Showers, we talked a lot about where we're at right now and what the future of media should look like. The sequel is actually, it should be more of a prequel, actually, which works with Peequel as well, prequel. So we're talking about the history of disc golf media, and Doc is the perfect person to speak to about that because you have some pretty special credentials under your belt. I mentioned at the top of the episode, you were responsible for getting disc golf on TV nationally before anybody else had done it.
That's right. In 2002.
Let's start from the top, man. How did you fall into that?
So I work in television, and I have friends that work in television. And I had a friend he had a home show. He had a show on television. And he came up to me one day and said, "What's this golf thing that you're always going on, and you're always playing, and you're always gone doing this?" I told him what it was. He says, "Was there a show about it?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Well, let's make one."
Hell yeah.
I said, "Okay."
You said this was like 2002?
This was in probably early 2001 when we had this discussion.
Okay.
So I brought him out to a disc golf course, kind of showed him what it was all about.
Mhm.
He brought the camera out. We shot some disc flying. we went back and looked at it and said, wow, this is really visual. I mean, to actually see that disc flying through the air is really cool. And then you get some putts, and if you slow it down where you're seeing these revolutions of the disc, it's just a really visual thing. So we said, well, how do we go about it? And we said, well, we have to talk to the PDGA, and which we did. So in 2001, we talked to the PDGA about, getting disc golf. We had some stipulations because we didn't want any competition at the time. So we basically acquired the rights to disc golf, the actual broadcast
you must have had
rights.
to pay for those rights, right?
We did not, because at the time they weren't really worth anything.
So they were just excited that somebody was going to try and make it happen.
Absolutely. We went down to the Memorial, is where they had that board meeting that year. Kind of gave them a presentation of what we were going to do, our vision of the show. We were going to do all the legwork and try to get it on television. So at that point, we went out, we shot some more things. We did a promo. Then we started doing some auditions for a host. We started locally at West Park. We held auditions at the Illinois States that year.
That's a new part I did not know.
Yeah,
Cool.
so we had a little booth set up, and there was a lot of guys at Elmo. There was some various other guys that actually tried out for it. And then one guy actually reached out to us. His name was Brian Sullivan, who has just recently passed. He had a disc golf website that he was promoting, and he went on to be the voice of the PDGA radio for a long time. And Brian was a great guy.
So I'm going to stop you real quick. I want to find out about that vision of that show. You said you were presenting it to the PDGA, and there was a vision for what the show was going to look like. You must have had a format or some. Just tell me, what was that vision?
Well, there was a couple of visions, actually. One, there was the vision of the show. So we set the show up as a magazine format type show.
Okay.
We also wanted to have some type of live coverage. So basically the way the format of the show was, we would, show the course. We would talk to the tournament director about the event with a sit-down interview.
Cool.
We would then go out with the tournament director to the signature hole, talk about the upcoming tournaments, the players that are coming into that event. And then at that point, we would actually do some general coverage. So we would we would spray all the players that day and kind of we'd go back and edit it as the first round, these are the guys that kind of are in the lead and showing some good putts. And we would cover all the divisions. Then we would we'd get one of the touring pros to give a instructional segment that we would always shoot. So there was a segment that had Ken Climo showing you how to throw a backhand, or Julia Korver showing you how to throw out of some bushes or whatever like that.
Awesome.
We would also have a sit-down interview with one of the top touring pros. So people
a little bit of storytelling.
Sitting down with Ken Climo to figure out, how we all got into this thing and stuff like that. And then we would actually go into the final 9 coverage. And that was one thing that we talked to the PDJ about, that said any of the 8-year events that we were going to cover, we needed a final 9. And the reason we needed the final 9 was we found one of the top pros that didn't make the cut, and they would be the color commentator with our announcer. Right. And we would actually do live 2-camera coverage. So we would have the camera at the tee with the commentators, and then I would be the catch camera down at the basket. So we can get the disc flying, similar to what you're kind of seeing now by some of these other productions.
Well, you say live, you mean while it's happening, it's being broadcast? Or there's some delay? Or
No, I mean, it wasn't live. It was definitely edited. But to us, it was live. This is happening right now with 2-camera coverage.
Gotcha. Okay. Just want to clarify.
As soon as it got done with one hole, I would hustle all the way down to the next one, and I was in much better shape then. Cameras were a lot.
Than this?
Cameras were a lot heavier then.
You're perfect.
They weren't about 12 pounds. A Beta Cam weighed about 40 pounds with a battery. A Sackler tripod weighed another 40 pounds, and then I carried a backpack with 2 or 3 bricks were the batteries that would go on the back of it. So,
jeez, it's like a military.
So it was a lot of hustling. And that would be the format of the show. And we would take it all the way down to the end. We'd announce the winner, and that would be the show. The vision was to attract sponsors and to get sponsors to not only advertise into the show, but then change the whole aspect of the way disc golf was. To this day, it is still a bunch of guys getting together and gambling. You put up your 100, you put up your 100, you put up your 100, you put up your 100.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in an extra 500, and the winner gets some money.
Sure.
We wanted to change it to be legitimate like other sports, where Nike comes in and they put up the purse.
Right.
And then your entry fee goes towards logistics. So having, concessions, having bathrooms, having security, having medical, just like you would get at a regular sporting event. And that was our whole goal that we presented to the PGA. They kind of liked it. They gave us the broadcast rights, so we had exclusive rights. There was an out if it didn't work, and they ended up taking that out. But
as far as you knew at that time, was there anybody else interested in trying to acquire those rights or do what you guys are trying to do?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Not that you know of, or you're pretty damn sure.
No, I'm 100% positive there was nobody interested in trying to film disc golf.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
It's a stigma I'm still, fortunately, that's still here today, that we're a bunch of hippie, pot-smoking Frisbee players.
Sure.
And,
Speak for yourself.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
And back then, you got to remember, this is 2002. It's not like 2020 where recreational weed is legal here in Illinois anymore.
Totally different ballgame. Might as well have been 1960.
So Nike doesn't want to have anything to do with pot smokers. Adidas doesn't want anything to do with pot smokers.
I can't imagine why.
In 2002.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was one of the stigmas that we ran up against a lot. And we wanted to change that because it's really not. It's not that. It's a fun. It's a very competitive sport. It's very visual for television.
Yeah.
And we were able to get the show on television, and at the end of the first year, we had it into 20 million households.
Wow.
Fortunately, we didn't make any money, so we couldn't continue. So
just because it was hard to get sponsors.
Well, it cost us about $200,000 to produce 36 one-hour episodes. If you ever watch a television show that was an hour episode,
who
and
sank
they have the credits,
$200,000 into this?
Myself, a partner, and an investor. So if you ever watch a television show, at the end, they'll show you the credits. And on a 1 hour show, there's anywhere from 40 to 80 people in those credits to do a 1 hour show. There were 3 people that did a 1 hour show.
That's
and it
so
basically
disc
consumed our life for the entire 2002 year. We would leave town on Friday, whether we were going to Florida or Texas or New York. We would leave on Friday. We didn't have the money, so we pretty much drove everywhere around the country.
All your money was already tied up in the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of money spent in different ways.
Sure.
But we would get there Friday, do some interviews, spray the tournament all day Saturday, get all those other interviews I talked about out of the way. Sunday was a little more coverage of everybody just to tell the story of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final 9, we'd get back in town either Sunday or Monday. We started digitizing. So back then, everything was on tape. It's not like now where everything's on a card. They can take that card and put it in a tape.
Yeah.
We had to actually go through 30-minute tapes. We shot an average of 30 tapes a week. And we had to actually go through that and put that into the computer, into the editing system.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, it was going into the computer. By Thursday, which is 2 days later,
The whole event.
basically a day and a half,
And you were pouring through 48 hours worth of, or 36 hours?
30-minute tapes. So that's 15 to 16 hours of footage. And then have that edited out by 8 o'clock with the agreement that we had with Empire Sports. To go back a little bit, how we got it on television was there's a show in Las Vegas, but it's the trade show for television shows.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have a television show or you have the rights to like the
Fat Dad
Office
tag.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, we should
You're
come
there
back to
with the
that.
booth
Right.
with your company and basically network people who buy programming from all the stations are at this show.
Mm-hmm.
So they had what they had at the time. They had what they called an independent producer section, which is shows that are just made by independent producers.
Yeah.
And we had the basketball commissioner who just recently passed away. We had him throwing Frisbees into a basket
At your booth.
at our booth.
Sweet.
And we got picked up by 2 companies. One was Empire Sports out of New York, and then ACN out of Portland. And both of them wanted the shows. We made the arrangements with them as far as commercial advertising. Where
It makes some sense to me. The Portland makes sense.
Mhm.
It's a West Coast thing. There's probably much more of a following out there. New York, I'm a little surprised by.
Buffalo, it was at Empire Sports, and that actually ran prime time. It ran 6 o'clock prime time in broadcast on a Sunday evening, which is a great time slot.
You must have some idea of how many people ended up watching. You said it was in 20 million households.
20 million households. We'd have to actually pay a lot of money to get the Nielsen ratings to actually.
You have to pay to get those ratings.
Yes, you have to
Shady.
get the ratings. So, with a limited budget, we
Thanks,
didn't
Nielsen.
have the time to that.
You know what? Before we move on too
Mr.
much,
Nielsen.
Jason brought up an interesting thing. I pitched a show last week to Jason's Imaginary TV Show Network, where you get fat dads to play extreme tag. So you have to have a BMI over a certain, you have to be so out of shape to compete, and you have to have kids.
Right.
And then we watch those dads play extreme competitive tag against each other.
Right.
How do you think a show like that would do at an event like this?
I don't think you'd get through probably 45 minutes of taping before you'd have to call paramedics.
That's the
pick
kick.
that's
the hook of the show.
Yeah.
That's the hook. If you survive,
Then it
you
turns
win.
into Rescue 911 and like a crossover.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's got possibilities.
Yeah.
We'll circle
We're
back
working
to
on
this.
it. We're workshopping.
Yeah.
Yep.
So getting back to the way the progression was, so we had it in these two areas, very small, limited household numbers. So we said, well, how do we get it in Chicago? Because there's 8 million households in Chicago. And the deal to attract advertisers, you have to be in a certain number of households to attract a decent advertiser.
Right.
20 million still wasn't going to get us the sponsors we wanted. We needed to be in 100 million households. Wow. That means that it's available for 100 million people to watch.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean
Of
they're
course,
watching.
not that many people are.
But
Right.
it's available for them
Right.
to watch. I was on the internet one day, and it all of a sudden said, "Oh, I saw your show in Colorado. It was great." I'm thinking, Colorado?
How the hell did that happen?
How did it get in Colorado? Did a little more research. Got picked up on the Fox network, and it was starting to air regionally in Fox in different aspects of the country.
They didn't have the rights to do that, though, did they?
Absolutely did not have the rights to do that. So I got on the computer, found the number. They called Fox Sports up. I said, this is Mr. Borowski. I have a show called Dis TV. I'm aware that your network is airing it without my permission, and I'd like to talk to someone about that. And if they could get back to me, here's my number. About 30 minutes later, the phone rang. It was the president of Fox Sports Network. Probably, and he introduced about like 7 guys, I'm assuming was an entire legal team.
Probably.
Sitting in his office, and I wanted to know how he got the sports. Well, evidently, Empire Sports is part of the Fox family. And the way television works, a lot of programs get transmitted up on the satellite. You can actually pull a lot of programs down all over the country because of the satellite access of it.
I see.
They started running this show in different areas, and it came from Empire Sports, being part of the Fox family.
So was this overall good or bad news?
At the time, I thought it was great because I'm saying, hey, now, it's selling itself. It's I got the network going, hey, this is cool. Let's start airing it in different portions of the country.
Right. That's getting you on the way to getting to that
Yeah.
100 million.
In hindsight, I should have sued him for $1 million and never did a show again. And
Disc golf for the rest of your days.
I would have my own disc golf resort somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, the goal was to get it more. So, I just wanted to know how they got it. I told them I was happy about it. I gave them permission to air it, just to keep me informed if they were airing it in different regions.
Sure.
Because I'd like to keep tabs on how it's going. And that's kind of how the whole show started. We did 36 one-hour episodes. We covered the whole the A-tier tours all over the country that year. And then we also went to England. I believe it was the English Championships. It was at Whitcomb Farms, which is just amazing, amazing golf course in the middle of nowhere in a little town called Bimminster. We were in the bar. We were in the bar one night. And
yes.
Yeah.
It's so small that we were in the bar one night and we said, we've been here like 3 days and we haven't seen a police officer. And the guy goes, well, we've got one.
We got
But
one.
he closes at 4. I'm like, okay.
4:30. Crime,
and then we went
crime
on to-
time.
Do all your crimes at 4:30.
Crime
Yeah.
time.
And then we traveled over to Sweden and we captured the European Championships. What was held in Stockholm.
Did you guys were filming while you were in the UK, and there are
Absolutely.
episodes of that stuff as well. Can we find this stuff online right now?
Yeah, so you can go to YouTube and just type in Disc TV, all one word, DISC TV. And they'll
Watch
pop
your
up.
spelling there, guys.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, because it might take you somewhere else.
YouTube
There won't be no disc golf on that one.
Yeah.
Some of you might like it.
Hey, no judgments. No judgments.
I don't judge. No, but if you go there, there's over 100 episodes. So basically, what I did was because of the length of the videos were our shows. They're all cut up into part 1 and part 2. And then I went back and I had a lot of great footage of some of the top players. So there's music videos for Barry Schultz, Cameron Todd, Felberg, Climo, Julia Korver. So there's some music videos up there. There's also some stuff where I've had some sit-down interviews, stuff that didn't actually make the shows, that I cut them out. There's also several segments up there from Brad Hammock and Ken Climo. And at the time, we were working on making a video with them, an instructional video. And there's 9 different scenarios where Brad and Ken, 2 different guys from tall to short, different ideas on how they would throw a certain shot.
Yeah.
And that's all up there as well. So
it's interesting to me to think about how this was pre-YouTube. This was like early internet, in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
So even the fact that you found somebody comment like talking about it online, there wasn't a Facebook. Like
No.
it's a completely different era. So the idea that like right now, any Joe Schmo can go out with their phone and create a how-to video on whatever. At this time, absolutely not. Like you needed professional production to create any of this stuff. Right? You needed a doc. Yeah.
You needed a doctor.
Where did it all go wrong for you?
there were several things that kind of hit us. One was a lot of you probably don't know this because you're young, but there's a thing called anthrax. Yeah, where's he going with this one?
Well, I've heard that band.
Okay, they're not a band.
It's a little harder than I'd like to listen to.
It's a powder that'll kill you.
Yeah,
but Dan Rather was a broadcaster in New York, and he received a package of anthrax sent to his office, along with several other big corporations at the time in 2002. Right then, we were actually doing our promotional push. Once again, this is 3 people doing a 1-hour show. Not only editing the show, shooting the show, but doing the logistics for the following week, reaching out to the TD, making arrangements, and still trying to go after sponsors.
This is one of the most disc golf things I've ever heard. Just like a skeleton crew doing everything.
Right?
Everything.
Right?
Everything.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Brian did all of our graphics. That's how busy we were. Where he would not only did the host, he lived in Michigan, but stayed with us at my partner's house, and we'd get up and do graphics. So, but Anthrax got hit right at the time when we had just reached out to a bunch of the manufacturers. We had about 60 bags from Discraft and Innova, disc golf bags. They gave us about 200 or 300 discs. We had loaded them up with Gatorade. Loaded them up with Johnson & Johnson baby powder, wraps for your arms. Anybody that we thought that could be a good sponsor for the sport.
Yeah.
And we were basically reaching out. We did all of our research to find out who the promotional people were in these corporations. Got all their names, got all their addresses and stuff.
Were there birdie bags in there?
They didn't have birdie bags at the time. You still took your hand. You had to touch the ground with the dirt. That was the birdie bag back in 2000.
Because if I was going to send anthrax, I would put it in a birdie bag.
That'd be the way to do it. Yeah. Hide it in a birdie bag.
But nobody was taking any unsolicited packages.
And you couldn't just like email stuff over because that's not how it was done at that time.
It was done at the time.
So you had to physically mail these things, and everybody was like, not touching any mail stuff right now.
So basically we got stuck with all that stuff. So that was one of the things. And we had some other anti-entities kind of fighting our way along
What was
the
the
way.
PDGA saying? I mean, were they happy with what you guys were doing?
Absolutely. They were, until the very end.
And then they weren't?
And they weren't. There were
you told me. Okay. I'm remembering what you told me about this.
I mean,
I think you should say it, though.
Okay. Well, I'm not shy, and I'm the only one left of the show. So, but anyways, there were some entities within the PDGA that were actually board members at the time that really didn't want us to succeed.
Because it threatened what they had going on.
Yes.
Things like the magazine. I don't know what else, but I'm sure it's a thing.
Just the whole sport in general.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I mean,
if disc golf got really big in 2002, and I was able to bring it to the mainstream and get it into 100 million homes, and everybody was starting to pick up disc golf, and it was like the new big thing. A company like Spalding would say, "Ooh, this is a big thing. I'm going to start making frisbees." Oh, wait, we're worth $3 billion. What's that little company over there called Innova?
Yoink.
And I love Innova, what they've done, but at the time, they were a roadblock to the show. Because had the show succeeded, and there would be no Innova today.
They would have been bought by a Spalding or whatever.
The same thing with the magazine. The person who runs the magazine was also a board member at the time. And they were just roadblocks. They were definitely roadblocks. They didn't hamper us completely, but they made it really hard for us to get stuff done that we really needed to get done.
Damn shame. How many years later was it before we started to see Jomez and the quality stuff that we see now? All that time that passed.
13?
We could have seen
14
that
years?
stuff start.
Yeah. Probably like 5-6 years ago.
The whole face of the sport, like the whole landscape of the sport would be completely different.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what is your take on today's coverage of what's happening and where you think it needs to go and what you think they might be lacking in currently?
You know, I've seen some of the coverage. Some of it's really good. Some of it's really awful, depending on perspective. Now, you remember, this is what I do for a living. I'm a television, not only audio, but cameraman.
So everything is, the standards are at the top level for
and that's what we tried to bring to the show back then. I mean, if you go to the website and you watch the shows, you can watch the evolution from week 1 to week 36 of the graphics. You can watch the evolution.
They keep getting better.
Of the shooting of it keeps getting better. It's not that easy to film disc golf. My hats go off to these guys that are doing it now, because it is not an easy sport. You know, we'd have a lot of fun. We'd call it cameraman commentary. And these are the guys that would stand up on the tee pad and they'd go through their motion 3 or 4 times. Well, when you're trying to film somebody off the tee pad, especially if you're off to the side, you're trying to pan with them as they're moving, but then you have to actually move kind of quick because that disc is leaving their hand at 80, 90 miles an hour.
Yep.
Okay, so you're anticipating their movement. So when they go through their whole run up and stop, and then you stop, and you have to start again with your center and start again. Yeah. And we would have our little joke because the camera mic would be on cameraman commentary going, you're going to miss this one. Nah, you're going to hit a tree. Yeah, you are wasting my effing time. Nope, you're no longer in the show.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun. It was like we met some great people, along the way, and saw some really great golf. I mean, there's some really good golf now, but for you younger disc golfers, go watch some of that older disc golf when the disc only went 300 feet. Wow! Watch some that disc golf of Ken Climo.
Yeah, I remember I said after we talked last time, I'm going to go back and watch some of that footage. I have not found the time, but I'm definitely going to now. I need to see what it looks like.
Getting back to Ryan's question, some of the things that they could do now, it's hard to get the show live, and I've seen they've tried it with the internet. Unfortunately, to do a good broadcast takes money, but it really takes a good network to be able to do that. Not only do you have to have the right equipment to be able to do that, and a lot of them, they're using a lot of consumer type equipment. Anything that's tagged with television is big dollars. Sure. So, I mean, there's definitely a way to transmit it via the internet. We do it all the time at the TV station. They're DeGeros, but I mean, we buy like 8 air cards from every network provider that there is. So we can get 5 gig worth of bandwidth at any given time, no matter where we are. But that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, but those stakes are a lot higher. And, how long is it going to be before they get to that point?
Right. No, but not only that, that's one camera and one angle. So that has to be transmitted back to some other place where there's a guy switching the angles and doing that.
Right.
So, I mean, to get it to live coverage will cost a lot of money. So what these guys are doing now, they're doing what they have. The nice thing is cameras have come down in size, come down in cost. Yep. You can make a nice, decent video with it that way. And, the guys like Jomez or Nick Productions, this young kid who was running around here, does a great job, and my hats go off to him because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Anybody who's tried making content from their phones should have an appreciation for the gap between what you're putting out from your phone versus what's happening at the highest level.
Yeah.
And even what's happening with, like, if you sunk a couple grand into some equipment, it's still like you're still not there. There's still a lot more that needs to happen for you to get
you're
that
professional.
6
figures.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the camera that I used at the time, the lens was a $30,000 lens.
Get the fuck out of here.
A $30,000 lens on a probably $30,000 camera.
That's more than most professional disc golfers make in a year.
Right. So that's the type of equipment we were using.
I don't know if that's true, by the way.
The cost of cameras have definitely come down. With the exception of HD lenses, they're still in the $15,000 to $20,000 range for professional ones to go on professional cameras.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think it's got to be in HD and all that? Or do you think the content, if it was at, 360 instead of 1080p, would that be better with better content, or are the visuals more important to you?
It's the content. It's the content. It's how you want to make a show that people are going to watch.
And pulls people in, even if you're not a disc golfer, you want an outsider to see it and have some ability to understand what's going on and get pulled in, which is where
that's what I wanted to touch on. It was great when you were describing what you did for the show and how you edited it together. You were catering to people like me.
Absolutely.
You were trying to legitimately grow the sport.
The show wasn't for disc golfers.
Yes. And I love that idea.
And that's the thing that now that all these guys that are putting out these shows, they're making these videos for disc golfers.
We're already watching it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's who's watching it.
Right.
They need to cater these shows to the average person who knows nothing about disc golf. because that's how you grow the sport. You don't grow it by people who already know about it. You want to grow it by exposing it to people who have no clue what it is.
I'm thinking about the people who are watching it, like the guys who are watching it with their girlfriends, who are like reluctantly watching with their boyfriends or husbands, and they're not getting pulled in. They're not getting interested at all because it's so for disc golfers. Like you need a little more stuff that like will help bring somebody who knows nothing about what's going on.
Well, when you sell drugs, you don't sell drugs to druggies. You sell drugs to people that don't do drugs. So they get hooked on drugs.
Wow, Ryan.
Hey,
Ryan.
what do you got?
We'll talk later.
We have just uncovered possibly an interesting little chapter in Ryan's past.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Drop the Breaking Bad
what is he-
music in
Right here.
What are you keeping in those fanny packs?
Yeah, right.
All right.
First one's free.
I just have to say that I hope that listeners really go back and watch because there's so many people that know Leo, the doc. It was fascinating for me to learn this about him and work with him as closely as I do, to know that so many years ago, Doc at my age now was doing something then that was a building block of what 15 years later became something that I was. It's just the whole life cycle of disc golf is so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Even 20 years
especially-
ago, I wasn't as cool as Sean Callahan.
No, don't.
Just saying.
Give it a break.
Yes, you were. Stop.
Were they calling you the doc yet back then?
They weren't.
Oh, damn.
What,
This
why
was
why do they call you the doc?
Well, out of high school, I had this dream of being a doctor, and I was going to be a podiatrist. But then I looked at my feet. And I'm like, my God, if I'd have to look at that every single day, and there could be feet worse than mine.
Definitely.
Could be. I doubt it. But
Definitely
maybe.
changed that career path. But Doc stuck from that point on.
That's why I wanted to do breast augmentation right out of high school.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to be a
gonna
breast doctor.
I was gonna
But
be a
then you
breast
looked in the
doctor.
mirror and you were like, I don't want to look at
I
these.
don't wanna look at these.
Yeah.
They're so
This-
hairy
the left
and the
side
nipples are two
seems
different
bigger
sizes.
than the right side. I don't know why.
Somehow I don't think that's true, that Doc's story doesn't add up, but I guess we'll have to take it at face value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is for this podcast. That's
Right, correct.
But there's just
It's
such
almost
a
like the
cool-
Joker, where the joke, like, there's all these different theories about how he got the scars on his face.
Sure.
We should have, we should be propagating multiple theories of how you became.
You want to know how I got this nickname?
That's right. And for those of you who really know me, you already know the answer. I'll leave it at that.
That's correct. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great show. It was fun. It was just way before its time, unfortunately. If we could do the same thing now with the same type of quality, I think we would have had better results. But
Yeah, I remember asking you that the other day when we were talking. Like, if the opportunity arose for you to try this again, your response is
absolutely not.
Hell no.
hell no.
You know,
Okay, but that's not
Being-
the right question. Like, what do you think? Take your opinion of it out. Do you think if you were to do it today, it would be successful? You don't.
No,
do you
because
understand what I'm asking?
I
Like-
am, but no,
Yeah, okay.
because I would never took that venture again. And the reason being was it almost cost me my marriage. It almost cost me my livelihood.
Uh-huh.
I freelance in the television business. I took a year off of work with no income. Just took savings.
Not only were you not
Remortgaged
making
the house.
income, but you were spending
Spending.
your savings.
Yes. I wasn't home for like my daughter's whole fourth year of watching her grow up. And, at the time I thought it was, I love the sport. I wanted to promote the sport, but there was a selfish reason behind it.
Sure.
Television, if you can get a good show on TV and my goal was to be the executive producer who sat in the trailer, and I just made decisions going, yep, that TV truck, that camera's going over there. Yep. We're airing it on 7:00. Everybody go.
Mm-hmm.
But, it just didn't work out that way.
Amazing, great things like they don't happen unless people take risks.
Absolutely.
So, your motives, like whatever. I mean, the potential, you were on the verge of greatness, and like there was only a few things that really stopped you from getting there.
Right. Now, if somebody came up to me now and said, hey, Leo, can you consult with us or say, what can we do to try
There
to
you go.
promote? I'd have no problem doing that because I do want to see the sports this year. I mean, this golf is my life. It's I started when I was 12 years old. I lived down the block. There was a guy
So
named
you've been
Don.
playing for 84 years.
84 years, and yet I'm still a grandmaster. How do I work that out? Age protected. Don Wilczek, which is a former world PDGA champion from the early years, was my neighbor. And, from the time I was like 10 years old, all the kids on the block played Frisbee, and we'd play catch. We'd skip it in the street. We'd play golf using the trees. Everybody had 3 trees in their swale. So it's the Savadill's second tree to the Birch's first tree. And, and then when I was 16, my mom finally let me out of the house to actually venture to Joliet, which from Oak Lawn was back then was like, we'll be going how far with who, but I got to West Park the first time in 1982. And that's the first time I actually played on a golf course. So I've been a member of the
West
PDGA.
Park had been in the ground for what, like 5 years at that point?
4. Went in 78.
The first permanent course in Illinois
was West Park. Well, it wasn't the first permanent one, but it was the first permanent 18
hole.
Right. That's what it was.
Let me ask you a silver lining question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think exists in disc golf now that would not have had you not done what you did? Is there anything that sticks out that's like, hey, if I had not gone through all of this, this would not exist, or this wouldn't have happened, or we wouldn't be here because of...
No, I don't. I mean, unfortunately, the show aired and then went away. There's 4 years later, you could ask people, oh, just TV? Yeah, I remember those guys. Or, yeah, I still got some of their VHS tapes. Or even 10 years later, yeah, I still got a couple other things. But the show went away.
Here's another question.
Didn't really make an impression.
Very similar to Ryan's question. Was it worth it?
Yes, absolutely. For me, it was. It was to take that chance. Like you said, if you don't take a chance in life on something, you never do anything.
Mm-hmm.
If Sean would have kept his job that he did and not say, hey, I'm going to open up a disc golf shop and see what happens, he would never be where he is today.
And as Sean always says, you look at the ripple effect. Somebody takes a chance like that, they make something great, and then you look at all the lives that it touches.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like maybe it's not tangible, but maybe disc TV did that for a lot of people.
No, but there's been a lot of people, and I just recently got reached out from the champ. To me, the champ is Ken Climo, and he'll always be my champ because of my age. But
sure,
one of his boys actually reached out to me about a month and a half ago, and he's looking for some old footage. I am the only one with actual real footage from back then. There's a lot of people who took bootleg footage with videos and stuff, but professional quality footage, I'm the only one who has it.
Wow.
And it belongs to me. And if you want it, it's costing you lots of money because I have over $200,000 to recoup. If you want any, reach me at disctv@gmail.com.
There you go.
meetrocket44@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Wow, it's fascinating.
Actually, that's disctvowner@gmail.com.
It's just amazing to have that much history exist. What, 99.9% of disc golfers have no idea.
Probably don't know.
People who are playing right now have no idea what happened before before.
People are going to listen to this podcast and go watch it, and it's going to change their whole views on disc golf.
Yes.
Their entire view on disc golf.
Yes.
And that's amazing, and I wish more people would do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Ripple.
Well, listeners, when you hear this, share it with your friends that are not from this area. I know we talk about a lot of local stuff on the show, but at least share this segment with your friends who play wherever in the world. I mean, more people should understand. You can't know where you're going until you know where you came from. So let's share this story far and wide. It's up to you guys to help make that happen. So
at a
do
minimum,
it.
go on YouTube
Yes.
and share it to your Facebook page and show people that there was this happening almost 20 years ago.
Yes.
And nobody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Or very few people know it,
Yeah.
I should say.
You're sharing the slow mezzes and the follow flights of Joe Mez.
Yeah.
There was
That shit
somebody
wouldn't
doing that
exist.
13 years before it.
Yeah. I just don't feel like that kind of stuff would exist had.
I want to see this shit on ESPN Classic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Those guys played some amazing golf. I mean, really amazing golf. And there was a lot more limitations with the plastic than there is nowadays. And, the courses, in my opinion, were a lot harder than they are these days. Now everyone caters to, okay, let's just pick up this 1,000-foot hole and we're going to call it a par 4 and see what these guys do. They didn't have that stuff back then. These were like to the left, to the right, to the right, to the left, and down
Very
fairways,
technical.
trees. It was very technical golf. And you got these guys, Barry Schultz, Ken Climo,
Who? I'm
David Feldberg. Did I say Barry Schultz? Julia Korver. Some of these really great, Brad Hammock, some of these really great golfers, their style and the way they did things. And what was really cool about the show, being part of those and doing all those informative how-to instructional videos with everybody, you got their own different perspective and how they got to the level that they are by the routines that they did.
We need
interesting
more of that.
fact about Ken Climo that a lot of people don't know about. Ken used a power grip for every single shot, including putting. He never changed his grip.
Mind blowing.
Never changed his throw. Changed his discs.
I'm trying to imagine putting with a power grip.
What Ken said was, by keeping everything the same, he promoted consistency. And by being very consistent, titles speak for themselves.
Yeah, you
right?
can't argue with it. Yeah.
But as like a 15-year-old who picked up my first couple of discs, and some of them, had Ken Climo's signature on there, and that was the only name I knew, for years and years before I ever watched anything professional. I just knew that's the guy, I guess. All right, so I think we covered a lot. I'm sure there's more, but we've covered a lot. It's not time to say goodbye yet, but I do want to say thanks so much for coming on and sharing all this stuff with us. I think it's going to be really important for this generation to hear this stuff. So it's awesome that you came on.
Everything that you've done. Everything that you've done, Doc. Seriously, we're close friends and we work together damn near every weekend, but I never get a chance to thank you for all the time that you've put into our local community and our sport, and it means so much to all of us, including myself. When we work side by side, you're like a father to me.
It's just
your story is so epic. I want more people to know about your story, and because you've done so much more than just be at our events on the weekend. So it's awesome.
It's for the love of the sport, and it's something that's truly my passion. I don't play much anymore, but you see me running events every week and
every damn weekend.
Every weekend and during the week.
Listeners, find the thing that makes you happy and do the crap out of it. All right, let's before we all start getting teary-eyed, let's move along. It's time for the mailbag. Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Jason, take us into the mailbag.
You betcha. All right.
I only sing if I get paid, by the way. Sorry.
It's for disc golf.
Wasn't on the rider. We didn't get him the brown M&Ms.
No.
Last episode, we talked about how there were some mailbag questions that were directed to me,
Yeah.
but then never said them.
Yeah, because we don't care.
So tonight,
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
We're going to start off with a question that was directed towards me. Talk about your favorite and least favorite molds of all time, and make sure Jason weighs in on this one.
Our least favorite molds?
Talk about your favorite and least favorite molds.
When you say mold, what
spores, like fungus.
Yeah.
Fungus
You know, the
among
green
us.
stuff that goes between your toes.
So I'm going to start with blue cheese, and then I'll go with magic mushrooms.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
And then after that,
Psilocybin. Yeah.
after that, I think is the shield.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna again go with portobello, and then the chicken of the woods mushrooms, and then I'll probably go the dynamic discs trespass.
Yeah. Best of all time?
Best and least favorite.
Oh,
Rock.
Paper.
No.
Scissors.
ROC.
Oh, okay.
the C is
Many
silent.
varieties. DX, KC Pro, Flat Top. They're all awesome.
Okay.
Rock for sure.
One remix.
01 remix without a doubt.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
It's
not right.
The Aerobee Epic.
One of those.
The Aerobee
One of those,
Epic is
yeah.
my least favorite. In case
Yeah,
you're
one of those
unfamiliar,
goofy things.
Jason.
I'll probably
Is that the one where they
agree with you.
glued the fur on the top, and then when you throw it, it like really creates a
How
bunch
did
of
you
drag?
just come up with that? This is why I'm glad you run the
Brain
Instagram.
works, man. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
The shit that comes out of Jason's head sometimes.
Yeah.
No,
Fur.
the Aerobee Epic is it's like off center. So
It's
the
like an
rim,
egg.
the rim is like thin on one side and thick on the other side.
Like a girlfriend I had in college.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I didn't catch
Thin
that.
on one
All right, fair
side,
enough.
thick on the other.
Thick on the
Yeah,
other.
uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
That could be good. That could work
I
out.
guess. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I don't know what the
It didn't
purpose of
work
it
out.
is, but I mean, I don't know.
No.
Whenever I tried to throw it, I couldn't figure out where
They're
should I
garbage.
grip it.
They're
Because it's like
Dumb.
every finger is in
It's
a
just like
slightly
Ryan's
different spot.
girlfriend.
Hey,
Oh, easy.
it's
They were
gimmicky.
cool to
Every
watch
time I
fly
grab
when you
her.
tried to throw like a tomahawk or
So
something.
is that what
Because they
the
would
thing was?
spin like they would flip like 6 times before it hit the ground.
That's kind of cool.
But they wouldn't go very far.
Ish
Gotta-
would throw
you
one
gotta-
in
If it's
tournaments.
still,
gotta prove.
I kind of want to put one in my bag now.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you
I
don't.
have the
Takes
arrow
up
in my
space.
bag.
Yeah.
The arrow actually serves
Just
a
go
decent purpose
full
though.
Aerobee sponsored bag. Only Aerobee.
I thought they only had 3.
Too
need
bad.
a
And you
small
only
bag.
get 3. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, Tom Samborski was who provided that question.
Oh, Tom.
Oh,
Just to give
I love Tom.
What a sweetheart.
And speaking of people providing questions, Garrett Vermont wants Alex to talk about how great Jason's brats are.
Did he really?
Yeah, and then he wants me to reveal my secret.
Wow. Just picking all the good questions, huh?
Yeah, we're just gonna knock the 2 best ones off the list right away. Yep.
Go ahead.
What did I like about Jason's sausage?
It was juicy. I had one.
What's
It
not
was.
to like?
It
Yeah.
was very
There was a
juicy.
nice
Girth is
crisp.
very
I'm not talking about the
The
girth.
skin wasn't really thick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
wasn't
went
thick
past
skin.
the buns.
It did. It did.
Okay. Straight up,
You brought up the question.
there was like
I had one of your
Telling us to
brats.
cut it off.
I'm just saying.
You told us to talk about it,
Yeah.
literally.
Go ahead.
was-
What's your secret, Jason?
So good.
there was a nice crisp on the outside, juicy
Yeah.
on the inside.
It was very juicy.
Yeah.
Kinda
There was cheese.
squirted
There was
when
there
you
were
bit
cheese
into
brats,
it.
right?
Yeah.
No,
There was a little squirt.
There was
No,
no-
they were just
none of the cheese ones?
regular- Yeah, they
Okay.
were not cheese.
Johnsonville cheddar brats.
Bomb.com.
Your
my,
secret?
My secret, honestly, is constant movement. Never let it rest for too long.
So my
Is that
toddler
why you
would
were
be
dancing
a
the whole
pro.
time you were cooking?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just constantly. Yes, keep it moving because
You have not seen a man, you've never cooked a brat, or you've never seen real brat cooking until you've seen somebody do the worm while they're cooking a brat.
while they're cooking a breast,
Yeah.
right?
Next event.
Yeah, it is about constant movement. Don't let it get too overcooked on one side. And I use the slats of the grill to my advantage, and I will like rest them like facing upward in the slat.
You fit the sausage
Do
right in
you
that slat.
Right in the
Want
slat.
to come out on Sunday to Clay Track
Perfect.
Classic 2 to Trinity Links right down the road from your home, so you have no excuse. So
Right.
don't try to back out of this, and come out and cook brats for all
He does
of
this
us.
to me all the time,
And
and
some
you
of the
can't
players.
say no. You're hooked.
Right?
That's
Hap-
it.
we do happen to have a grill there.
Leo
all you
will
have
be
to do is
there.
Bring some
I
charcoal
will be
and some
there.
brats.
Ryan will be there.
This
We
is-
can talk Alex into it.
Son of a.
And then everyone
No.
can enjoy your sausage.
Yes.
And put it between their butts.
This is different from the secret that you told when I was recording you.
Right.
You said the secret was to get smoke in your eyes so you were crying.
You were crying. Yeah.
The
You're
tears
Not
is-
I remember that.
cooking over a grill right unless your eyes are teared up.
The tears is where the magic
Yes.
comes.
Yes.
Cool. Great question,
It's a
Garrett.
battle. Up next, Corey Simonich has a question for us.
Hey, we know that guy.
Corey.
The funk.
If you could restore any course to its former glory, what would it be? For example, I heard Haynes in the 80s and 90s was amazing.
I don't think the appetizer course is taken as seriously as it used to, and I would really enjoy that.
Okay.
Like some cheese and crackers.
Oh, you went a different route.
If that's the
Got
route
it.
we're going, yeah.
But I'm with you.
Yeah. Some like what are those little
Olives.
What are those little ham
Rami.
wraps with the pickle in the middle? Oh, that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
why
Put
don't we
some cream
just
cheese in there?
why don't we just jump to the pasta? Why don't we have an appetizer course?
Yes.
Restore that shit.
Restore that to its
Let's go.
original glory.
Yeah.
If we're talking about appetizers, my favorite is baked brie with like some baked apples around that.
Okay.
Ooh,
You put a
damn.
little fruit preserves on top, like some like apricot jam or something,
Stop.
and then you pine nuts on top of that,
Stop.
and then you
See-
put it all on a piece of bread, a little like baguette
Yeah.
slice.
Getting
Yes.
figgy with it.
So
I'm
good.
not really big on appetizers, but if I was, I think I would have chunks of Jason's sausage in a cream sauce.
And a cream sauce.
Wow.
A cream sauce.
A light cream sauce.
Well, if
Yeah.
you
And a
wait
light-
long enough,
Definitely a light cream
if
sauce.
you wait long
I
enough,
think that sentiment is echoed by the Jason fan club.
Yes. Yeah.
I hope this is exactly what Corey wanted when he asked this
Do
question.
I get to do my course
seems like
though?
a-
Sure, go
because
ahead.
I would like to, and
Go
maybe
ahead.
it's just
Go
an
ahead.
obvious answer. West Park. I would love to be given all due respect to Gary Lewis
Carte
and
blanche.
Paul McAllister
Yeah.
and the whole whole history. But imagine being given carte blanche at a property like West Park to put in a XXL, if you will. That would be the bomb dizzle.
That'd be
I think
tight.
the question though is restoring it back to the original course.
Shut up, Corey. I made my own question.
yeah. Thanks a lot, Corey. You ruined that. Forget it.
Next question.
So no one's answering Corey's
No.
question.
No,
No.
yeah, of course not.
That happens a lot on the
the
mailbag.
best part.
That's
of
the whole
mailbag.
idea.
I'm just a visitor here, Corey.
All right, next question comes to us from Ryan Stilson.
Oh boy.
Ryan says, when you guys order double cheeseburgers, do you believe the cheese and meat ratio need to be the same?
It's important. Yes.
His example is if you order a double at Burger King, you get one slice of cheese in between two pieces of meat.
Yeah.
He feels you should be getting two
Oh,
slices.
another
of
good
cheese.
example is that if you order McDouble, you're getting one slice of cheese, two patties. If you order a double cheeseburger, 2 slices of cheese and 2 patties.
2 patties. Yeah.
What is the price difference?
It's significant. It's unfair. It's actually unreasonable. And I was really mad when I first learned about it.
Definitely more than the slice, more than price.
More
of
than
one
it's
slice
worth.
Of cheese.
I think it's like 50 cents.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not willing to pay the extra 50 cents, but like I still get McDoubles instead.
Right.
But it is relevant.
Why don't you just
Like,
bring your own cheese?
Can you imagine going through the drive-through and the lady hands you your food and you just have like a slice of
You
cheese
don't
in
even
your
pull
hand?
away yet. You
like
just
waiting, like
Yeah.
hands shaking in anticipation.
Yeah.
BYOC.
Bring your own cheese.
BYOC.
Yeah, I think it's important, but not enough to pay 50 cents.
Right.
I think the pinnacle of cheeseburgers, the absolute top of the triangle, is Five Guys, in my opinion.
I have literally eaten there one time.
Okay. I'm with you. I don't know if
And
I
it was
agree
great.
fully, but I see where you went, and I
wouldn't fight
can't
you on
fault
it.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc,
you guys ever
you've been around,
You've
like-
been around, yeah. Like
Doc?
what-
Hey, Doc, you're
like-
old. What's the best burger?
Clarify that. My wife is listening.
What's the best cheeseburger you've had? Not for your dollar, just oh my god, this is outstanding.
Budrucker.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
It's about that thick and delicious.
Yes.
For those of you that can't see, he held
just-
his fingers about 4 inches apart.
From the microphone, he put
That's
them
what
up
she
to the
said.
mic.
So you could hear his fingers separating while he
You guys
measures.
hear that?
He is an audio guy. He knows how that
rubber
works.
band
Yeah.
You could add that sound in.
I have not had Fuddruckers in a long time.
There's only like
Yes.
2 left
Long,
in
long.
the continental
Ling long.
US, isn't there?
There's one up by Fry's, up on
No, that
355,
closed.
or is it gone? Oh,
Close.
bummer.
I drive past it every day. It's
There was
bummer.
one east, like Matson.
You could have
Yeah,
whatever
you got the
want.
bar.
Yes.
You
yes.
got the little
It was
salad bar.
fantastic.
You could have
Burger
whatever
bar.
you want on it.
Fuddruckers,
But the
yes.
burger was literally 2-3 inches thick. I mean, it was like
The
a
meat
pound.
itself.
It was a pound.
You
of
could
meat
get
or
like an
something.
elk burger, and you could
Yeah.
get a bison burger, and you could get all sorts of crazy
Yeah.
Bison burger,
more.
yes.
I mean, not fully exotic,
Yes.
but like
Wow.
Yeah.
different meats.
It wasn't just
They
the
had
cow.
human meat. You could get a human burger.
It was like a Soylent Burger.
Yeah.
It's people. Yeah.
People.
People.
Let's field a question from Grace Brazelli.
Brazzali.
Brazzali? Grace Brazzali.
Or Brazzle, however you want to say it.
Or- yeah.
Grace
Sorry, Bill.
and Amy Laskowski
Okay.
have a question
Sex
for
Club.
us. They want to know who our celebrity hall pass is.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
You know, actually, Liz and I were doing this earlier on in our relationship, and I asked if I could pick a disc golf chick, and she was like, "No, because they don't have a big enough following. You could slide in her DMs, and it could be real."
Right.
Like, so
A hall pass, there's
Yeah.
a level of unobtainability there.
yeah, I think there has to be a number of followers like you have like that. Then it qualifies for hall pass because
Sure.
it's not accessible.
I know mine.
Huh? Yeah.
Jennifer Connolly.
I knew you were going to say that.
From
Labyrinth.
the Labyrinth.
What if she
Yes.
hears this? It's going to be
Jennifer,
If
Hello.
you're listening.
Hi, I'm Sean.
Hello.
I'm a Capricorn.
slide into these DMs, girl.
What movie was what sealed it?
I
hope I know
career
that-
opportunities.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to say
Yeah.
Career
career
opportunities.
opportunities. The Jennifer Connelly movie
1991, I
that
believe.
most people don't know exists.
Dear God, gentlemen, if you're listening, stop everything you're doing
Okay.
and rent that movie.
Find a way to watch career
Find
opportunities.
a way.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Topanga Lawrence.
Whoa.
Okay, character, not real person.
Not a
Danielle
real person.
Fisher. Sorry,
Yes.
I'd rather Banga
Fischel?
Topanga.
Hey,
Danielle
oh.
Fishel, I think.
Fisher, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I want
Yeah.
Topanga.
You want Topanga? Yeah.
Honestly,
College, not middle
right,
school.
Right, yeah.
College Topanga.
Right, clearly.
Just clarifying.
Yeah. I think it would be Kristen Bell.
She
all
she
right.
seems fun.
Yeah.
She is adorable, and yeah, that was creepy.
Like-
what you just said.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
Yeah, she's tiny.
She's the kind of chick that punches you in the face during sex
And laughs about
and
it.
laughs about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If that really happened to you, would you be into it?
Completely. Yeah. Bloody nose and all.
yeah,
Wow. I think
Doc,
I would be
I'm into
too.
weird shit.
You into
Yeah.
getting punched?
We could define celebrity as somebody that you're really into,
Right.
really admire,
Right.
right?
right?
famous. Yeah.
So,
famous, yeah.
being the smart one here in the group,
You're gonna say your wife.
I'm going to say
Don't
my
you do
lovely
it.
wife.
Don't
Paula
do
Beach.
it.
Jesus.
Womp, womp.
Come on,
I mean, your wife is awesome.
Yeah.
she is. I don't wanna
Everybody's
be with
wives
anybody
are
else.
awesome.
I know.
Now, if it was before I met my wife, it'd have been Farrah Fawcett. There was a poster
There we
on the wall,
go.
but that was pre
there
Mrs.
we go.
B.
Okay.
You
There we
heard
go.
it.
Fair.
You heard it first.
How's that?
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett.
Your Farrah Fawcett on the wall for my generation was Alicia Silverstone in all of the Aerosmith videos.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Correct.
about
That-
her as Batwoman?
That is burned in. She wasn't great in Batman. Even though I'm pretty sure I heard that Alicia Silverstone chews up her baby's food and spits it in their
You're
mouth
joking.
or something like
Nah.
that.
we're
Don't
good.
do that to me.
I
Don't do that
swear
to
to
me.
God.
Don't do
Yeah.
that to me. Don't do that
That's
to me.
still your hall pass?
No.
That's still my hall pass. Yeah, that didn't.
So you want her to do that for you?
That was at such a perfect time in my life that it's just burned in my brain. I would ask her to recreate the crying video and then eat pizza and spit it in my mouth.
Dude!
That is a perfect night.
What?
This got weird.
What?
It got very
That's an
weird. I
absolute
think I'm going to be
perfect
ending this
night.
podcast and leaving now. Thanks for having
It's
me.
called
Bye-bye.
baby birding.
So my wife and I have one together,
Uh-huh.
just as weird.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm listening.
but, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well,
I mean,
obviously.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
goes without saying.
like
Yeah.
it would take me no time, and it would take my wife less time.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
There's
It's over.
something about that man. He is delicious.
You
Yeah.
sound a lot like Michael the way he talks about Ryan.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Hot, but in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time for the trivia portion of the night.
Trivia portion of the night.
The mother trivia portion of the night.
So
You guys got to really work on some of this
pretty-
stuff.
that sounded great to
Yeah.
me. What do I know? So we discussed it earlier. I think it's great. What we are going to do is just like what we did for the Oreo challenge. In 2 weeks, we are going to go out on hole 8 at Delhi.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
And we are gonna rip one from the right from the pad.
Yep.
We're all
And
going to fart.
Sean's gonna. I want to see whose is the smelliest.
Yes.
We're going to combine all the scents together.
all the
no.
scents together.
You guys have to
Model
guess.
them.
Nope.
It'll be unstable
No,
discourse.
it'll
Boom.
smell like Huel melon.
No, we're gonna throw a drive off the T-pad.
Yep.
Sean has a laser sight where he can tell us exactly the distance, and we are going to add those 4 distances together. So that is tonight's trivia portion. Is what do you think that total distance of all 4 of our drives off hole 8 at Delhi is going to be?
There's a pretty special caveat on this one because you, aside from not being a disc golfer, you also have an injured primary arm.
Correct.
Yes.
So you're going to be
I'm working
using,
on it, but it is currently.
you're going to be
injured,
using
yes.
your left, your right arm because you're lefty.
Hopefully, I can throw with my left in 2 weeks. When
What
we
if
do
we
this.
just
I
teach
can't-
you righty from the get?
Sure, let's do it that way. Whatever
Yeah.
you guys think will work. That's the trivia portion of the night.
Okay.
The mother trivia
Wait.
portion of the night.
Before we move along, let's all make a guess now before all the other guesses come in.
Ooh.
Total?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Totalitarian.
1,020 feet total.
That puts us all in the, well, for 4 people, that puts us all in the like 250 range.
He said what he said.
All right.
My
Hold on,
guess-
I'm writing this down. Ryan,
All
you
right.
said what?
I'm gonna go 1,200, Alex.
Ooh,
Nice.
And that works.
Shit, I was going to say 12. I'll go. Jason, you really are the wild card.
Mm-hmm. We do not know what's going to happen out there.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 11.
Yeah, I throwing 300.
I'm throwing almost 4.
I just did.
I'll get
I
almost
did a
4.
couple times today.
So I'm going to go 11.
1,100.
1100.
Yeah.
That's 700 for me, 200 for you.
Right. Got it.
Got Do the math right. It'll be very
Wait,
embarrassing.
we can't. We can't use total
700
8
for
because
me,
it's not long
200
enough.
for you, 200 for you, 0 for Jason.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Oh.
So just like before, you're gonna look for the post that we'll do on Facebook. It'll be the disc with question mark. That's where you're
Maybe
gonna
that,
submit your
that
answers.
picture will be all 4 of us standing on.
Yeah.
Hole 8.
Could be.
You never know.
Maybe look for that picture.
Well, and we will do that segment live on Instagram again. So make sure you follow us on Instagram so you can
betcha.
watch that shit live.
At Unstable Discourse, or you can follow the hashtag Unstable Discourse.
That's a wrap on the episode, boys.
Already?
Thank you guys for listening. If you've been with us this whole time, you rule. Great episode. Thanks again for joining us, Doc.
Yeah.
That was killer.
Thanks for having me. Remember, Disc TV on YouTube.
Not Dix TV, it's Disc TV. Until next time, guys, keep it tight, and we will see you when we see you. Later, Jobin.
See you. Or we'll see you another time.
See you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Get the fuck out.
Listen to Unstable Discourse on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or right from Buzzsprout.com. And if you have the time, leave us a rating and review. It helps the podcast get to more listeners.
Unstable Discourse is a top secret studios production.